Hey everybody, Nate here, Hill and Ponton's video guy. You all know me. You all love me. I've got the right t-shirt on today. Today, I'm going to be with Ursula Mecabe. We're going to be talking about her career as a veterans benefits attorney. Before we hop into it, make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below. You hit the like, and if you have more questions, you can click the link in the description to be able to reach out to us for us to be able to help you with your case. Now that I've gotten all the formalities of the YouTube channel out of the way, let's go ahead and say hi to Ursula. Hey, Ursula.
Hi Nate. Hi everybody. How you doing?
Oh, you're the first to address everybody on camera. Look at that. Look at that. You've been PR trained apparently.
Only by you.
Only by me.
Only by you. Yeah.
I love when people come on these and inflate my ego.
Okay, good.
Like my favorite thing is on lives when people are like, "Nate's so amazing."
But you are.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Okay.
I just need more people to say it.
Oh, okay.
It's a self-esteem
Yeah.
thing. So Ursula, you are a veterans benefits lawyer.
I am.
Why did you get into veteran benefits law?
I didn't mean to. I just kind of ended up here. So, this is my second career. So, for the first part of my career, I did a lot of restaurant management and was at a district level when it came to restaurant management. But I woke up every day and I just didn't feel good about what I was doing because I was just selling sandwiches at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something that gave meaning to life and was helpful to people. So later in my years, in my 30s, I went back to college, finished my degree, and I really wanted to focus on people with disabilities. So when I was like 16 years old, I used to babysit children with cerebral palsy. And even one year, one summer, got flown out to another state to just be an in home babysitter for a disabled child. And so I always knew I would do something with disabled people. And when I got to college, I was like, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And I settled on being like a social worker for deaf people because I took ASL. I learned there was this whole other culture out there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. Well, then my mentor died. We came into class. She died of like her appendix burst. And then I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do anymore. Like, I have no clue. Like, it just kind of ended. And I was like, okay, well, I'll go and take these other classes in, language sciences and all this stuff. And then I was like, I don't want to be a speech pathologist. And that's essentially what it was prepping me to do. And so I'm sitting here in my late 30s going, I quit my job, my corporate job that was good, it paid well, to take on this adventure to not know what I'm doing. It was awful. And then I needed to take a class. So I just took like an intro to law class.
Uh-huh.
And I loved it. I was like, oh, this is easy. I could do this. And so I just did it. And I felt like really accepted by the major, by the legal studies major, by all the professors and the people. I just kind of found my groove and I just went from there. And then when I was still in my undergrad, I got my job here at Hill and Ponton, and I worked as a claims advocate. And so my job was to help the attorneys get the files prepped, go through them, just assist in all that evidence development for the attorneys so they could do what they needed to do. And when I got back from law school, I just didn't want to go anywhere else. I've, been doing this for quite some time now, and I don't see anywhere else I'd rather be.
That's awesome. You took a law class and thought this was easy?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only question I have about the story. I was like, that's impressive.
I was scared because like I opened up the textbook and there were all these words that I didn't understand, but like it wasn't that complicated for me,
Yeah.
And so I just kind of was like, all right, this is it, and just went with it.
Yeah.
And
Now,
here I am.
being part of the Hill and Pond team, when it comes to veterans benefits, you kind of oversee anything and everything. Is there a specific area that you enjoy more than others?
Yeah, I mean, every case is different, and there are some cases that I'm more comfortable with, or I know a little bit more about the laws or the issues that go with it. And there's also medical conditions that I may know more about than others. So there's not necessarily a favorite. On our team, where I work with Carrie, we do a lot of exposure cases, a lot of DIC cases. You know, so that's kind of what we do a lot of our focus on is those types of things. And
Mhm.
it's just more of a comfort thing than it
Yeah.
is an enjoyment.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That makes sense. And then, if there are any veterans out there that are watching this and they're struggling in the process of getting their benefits, what's a piece of advice that you think would be able to help them? And I know that's a super broad
it
question.
is. If there was one thing, if they haven't already filed, obviously just to file. But
Mhm.
if there's a veteran that's in the process of trying to get the benefits, don't believe everything that the VA writes in their decisions or in their exams. You're allowed to question and say those things aren't right, but also be patient. This is not a quick process at all. And you have to be willing to get those denials, know that they're probably going to come even if you are entitled to those benefits, and just keep pushing forward. Whether you do it by yourself or with an advocate, don't give up. Too many people give up, and they shouldn't because they're losing for no reason
Yeah.
and they're entitled to those benefits.
I want to key in a little bit more on questioning. What does that look like? Like, if you're given something by the VA to question it, is there a process for that, or is there something to keep in mind when you get your decision and it might be a denial? Like, is there some sort of tip for that?
Yeah, so definitely read it. And a lot of times you're just going to get boilerplate kind of language where we considered this, we considered that. One example would be you are trying to get service connection for sleep apnea.
Hmm.
And they pull a Tara report, and then they're like, we considered if it was part of your Tara. Okay, well, that wasn't what you put forward. But if you're saying that it's because of something else, it entails reading it to make sure to see kind of what VA is saying and why they're denying that benefit, but also knowing what evidence is in your file already, knowing what's in your medical records. If you've gotten other doctors' reports in, looking at those reports and saying, well, your doctor says this, but my doctor says this. So obviously, you can't just win. Um, it's finding mistakes that are in there, making sure there's favorable findings and making sure those favorable findings remain the same and they don't take them out. I mean, we've seen favorable findings that say under TDIU denial, saying, well, the veteran can't work due to service connected disabilities, but we're going to deny that benefit anyways. So read carefully and know what's inside your claims file.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's everything. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I hope you all enjoyed that video. And if you have any questions, click the link in the description below to reach out for a free case evaluation or watch one of the next videos right here. Thank you. Have a great day.